For generations, the name Alexander III of Macedon has shimmered like a polished bronze helmet across the pages of history. His title, the Great, floats beside him like a halo. The red-haired conqueror who slashed across continents from Greece to modern-day Pakistan is often framed as the ultimate warrior king. Dazzling, unstoppable, and larger than life. But greatness has a habit of hiding the strange, the questionable, and the downright chaotic. Behind the marble statues and battlefield legends lies a man who drank too much, schemed too deeply, read too obsessively, and played politics with an instinct so sharp it could cut through prophecy itself. Welcome to an unfiltered look at the world's favorite golden boy. Was Alexander truly great, or just great at doing terrible things with impressive confidence? Let's begin our march, a murder wrapped in politics. If you could step into Macedonia in the 4th century BC, you'd find a kingdom hot with rumors and tension. King Philip II, battle-hardened, charismatic, and limping from an old war wound, strutted into the theater at Igi. It was meant to be a celebration, a spectacle of royal might. Instead, it became his final performance. Pausanias, one of Philip's trusted bodyguards and once his intimate companion, suddenly lunged forward and plunged a hidden dagger into the king. The audience gasped. Philip crumpled. Pausanias fled, only to catch his foot on a vine root, faceplant into the earth, and get skewered by fellow guards before he could even mount his horse. Officially, the jealous lover acted alone. He felt discarded by Philip, humiliated as the king's attention drifted to younger favorites. The resentment simmered. The dagger found its mark. Simple enough, except the aftermath smelled convenient. Within moments of Philip's death, his wife Olympias and their son Alexander swooped into power like eagles claiming a fresh kill. Rivals for the throne? Gone. Political enemies? Handled. Competing heirs? Erased with chilling precision. And Olympias wasn't even in Macedonia at the time, almost as if she knew a storm was on its way. No ancient source ever proves Alexander or his mother orchestrated the assassination. But the speed, timing, and flawless execution of their power grab still make historians raise an eyebrow. Maybe two. Consider this your first taste of Alexander's world, a place where loyalty was fragile, ambition was oxygen, and kingship was never inherited. It was secured with blood. Half Macedonian, half Greek, totally bookish. Alexander's mother, Olympias, came from Epirus, a region the proper Greeks viewed with a mild side-eye. Macedonians, meanwhile, were treated as rough, wild northerners. So Alexander grew up as a cultural hybrid, half in the world of rugged warriors, half in the delicate salons of Greek aristocracy. Philip saw something bright in his son and decided to shape him into more than just another spear-throwing prince. Instead of sending him to the rough-and-tumble page school, Philip hired Aristotle, yes, that Aristotle, to tutor the boy at a private academy in Myesa. While most boys his age memorized battle formations, Alexander devoured literature before he even hit puberty. He worshipped Homer's heroes, slept with the Iliad under his pillow, and carried a whole traveling library in his baggage train. He could play the lyre beautifully. He debated philosophy with adults before he sprouted a beard. When the army marched, he dragged along a personal think tank of historians, scientists, and scholars, just so he could chat strategy, ethics, and the cosmos between battles. Picture a man who fights like a lion at dawn and hosts a miniature TED Talk by dusk. That was Alexander. If someone had given him a fantasy role-playing game, he might have become a career dungeon master instead of a serial conqueror. When the wine flowed, disaster followed. But behind this brilliant mind lived a man cursed by insecurity, addicted to glory, and catastrophically obsessed with alcohol. Alexander was short, around 5'2" in modern measurements, and lived with the pressure of two extraordinary parents. Wine became his sanctuary early, and Macedonia wasn't a land of diluted, civilized sipping. Macedonians drank their wine straight, strong, and unapologetically lethal, and Alexander drank like a man trying to drown both his ego and his demons. He threw riotous feasts. He drank himself ill. He drank himself into rage. He drank himself into murder. At one legendary banquet after the fall of Persepolis, The courtesan Thais reminded Alexander how the Persians once burned Athens. Fueled by liquor and revenge cosplay, Alexander ordered the magnificent city torched. Persepolis, one of the world's most spectacular capitals, was reduced to smoldering ruins. Columns stood like charred ribs against the desert sky. And in the morning, when the king sobered up, regret washed over him. But the damage was done. Years later, during another drunken quarrel, Alexander killed his close friend Clytus the Black. The guilt nearly crushed him. He did not learn his lesson. At Susa, mourning the self-immolation of the philosopher Calanus, Alexander hosted the world's worst drinking contest. 41 contestants joined, not one survived. The winner drank 4 gallons of undiluted Macedonian wine and died shortly after receiving his prize. Alexander himself would follow a year later, possibly from alcohol-induced illness. Fever consumed him. Yet even on his deathbed, he demanded more wine, convinced that the tremors in his body were withdrawal, not death. The man who conquered nations could not conquer his own thirst. The politician hidden behind the conqueror. Alexander is remembered as a military genius, but he could have thrived spectacularly in modern politics. Manipulation, propaganda, image building, he wielded these with breathtaking precision. When he inherited the throne, he didn't just continue Philip's plan to push Persian influence out of Asia Minor. He reframed the entire campaign as revenge for Persia's invasion of Greece a century earlier. The Greeks and Persians weren't even enemies anymore, but Alexander reopened old wounds like a seasoned demagogue. He promised unity. He promised glory. He promised justice. He delivered conquest under the banner of patriotism. Greece bought it. Thebes resisted, and Alexander annihilated it, enslaving its survivors and making it a warning carved into the earth: obey or burn. He projected Macedonia as the guardian of Greek honor, even though Macedonia barely participated in the original Greco-Persian wars. Facts were optional. Messaging was everything. Then came the Gordian Knot. According to legend, the one who untied its impossibly tangled rope would rule Asia. Alexander tried, failed, then calmly sliced it in half with his sword and declared the prophecy fulfilled. A PR move so bold it would make modern media consultants applaud. He embraced Persian customs to win over conquered nobles. He wore their clothes, adopted their etiquette, married their princesses, and pushed his generals to do the same. Macedonian purists were furious, but Alexander didn't care. Diplomacy was his armor, symbolism his favorite weapon. He lied to his troops when they mutinied at the river Bais, promising to return home while secretly plotting his next invasion. Only his untimely death stopped him from launching campaigns deeper into Arabia. And yes, he named over 70 cities after himself. If narcissism were an empire, he would have conquered that too. So, was Alexander actually great? The man was a storm wrapped in bronze and ambition. He was brilliant, yet destructive. Brave, yet reckless. Philosophical, yet impulsive. A visionary general, yet an insecure ruler. A scholar with a sword, a drinker with a destiny, and a leader whose charm could inspire loyalty or ignite terror. The world remembers him as the Great. But greatness is always complicated. Was he a genius conqueror or a megalomaniac with an army? A cultural bridge builder or an opportunistic appropriator? A hero of Greece or a destroyer of worlds? History whispers all versions. You decide which one speaks loudest. And that's the untold side of Alexander. The brilliance, the madness, the ambition, and the chaos wrapped into one unstoppable force. If you enjoyed this journey through the wild, ruthless, and fascinating world of ancient power, make sure you tap that like and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep questioning the legends.